Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. Congratulations. The big things have happened. There's more big things to come, but this week is a vibey integration week. There's not crazy astrology going on. There's nothing I need to warn you about other than what I'll say is it's a very thoughtful week. It's a week to go over what all has happened. It's a week to integrate what all is to come and merging the two. It's a really great week for, thinking about how you want to proceed because Mars went direct, Venus went retrograde, and we're starting to see some writing on the wall. Is that true for you? I'm hoping that that's resonating because a lot has come up. It certainly has for me. And so I thought I would take this podcast to be a little vulnerable with you guys. And since there's not crazy astrology going on this week, to share how all of the big astrology that has been happening has processed itself through me, through my daily life. Because what I want to draw attention to is that sometimes our life can feel very mundane, or sometimes mundane things can be going on. And this to me is a wake-up call to activate it, to anything that is coming up in the day, to activate it, to ponder it, to get curious about it, and to heal it and work with it. So I will start by saying, I think you remember when I was talking deep about Pisces. We're in Pisces season. There's a lot of planets in Pisces. There's a lot of that woo-woo, other side, intuition, watery, unclear vibes that have been in the atmosphere lately. Even Mercury was in Pisces. So things weren't as clear. Things were vibes. We were surfing a vibe, and that's for sure. My partner noticed and had been avoiding wanting to take care of this damp spot in the garage. It was really bugging him, and he thought that it was energetically like pulling from our family having that. And so even though he really didn't want to, he just had the vibe that he needed to start tackling that. It triggered me because I don't like dealing with that kind of stuff. As a young person, I was very omega. Like I didn't want to lead. I was the belly up dog that would just go with whatever everything else and everyone else was doing in order to keep harmony, to maintain balance, and to not stand out. During group projects, I wouldn't want to be the leader. I would always take the back seat. I would copy my homework sometimes. I would give the answer that the other person was giving so that I didn't have to be confronted with feeling stupid, with feeling like I didn't know, with feeling like I had to figure it out. And this has played out throughout my life for a long time. It's a hard thing to admit that I don't stick up for myself, that I've had a lot of situations in my life where I have not acted in my own best integrity just to keep some kind of peace. So that's me. So back to this leak in the garage. My partner's cleaning that. I'm a little bit triggery about it because it's yucky and I super didn't want to do it. So I'm feeling bad that he's doing it and I'm not doing it. And then the toilet starts to leak. You catching this water vibe? So there's wetness downstairs that he's working on. The toilet upstairs starts leaking and I think, I have to call a plumber. And so I did. And I thought it would be an easy fix. And the plumber comes and there's Mars retrograde. It's a leak that's leaked under the flooring. And I've dealt with a little bit of that before from my refrigerator last year. So it felt weird. It felt like, this again. Oh man, but this time it's my toilet. So my toilet's removed. The floor is wet and I'm having to call a remediation company. So triggering, watery, vibes, Pisces, Mars retrograde, not feeling like I know exactly what to do and kind of starting to fall into that feeling of non-leadership, of hanging back. The plumber gave me a recommendation for a company, and did I look at their reviews? Did I do my own research? Did I do my own diligence? No, I did not. I just trusted my plumber and called that person and brought him in, and they tore up the flooring, and they started to get incredibly sus, so to speak. Mars went direct. So now here we are, Mars direct in Cancer. So this wounded warrior, we're feeling taken advantage of. I was feeling taken advantage of. And I started to be a little bit suspicious. Cue Venus going retrograde. Our relationship and how we're relating is starting to change and be under review. When I questioned these people, they got very defensive and started yelling and started doing things like hanging up the phone on me and not fully explaining every step that they were taking, not wanting to, not thinking that they needed to. And I had this moment of all of these things coalescing at the same time, of all of that Pisces energy piquing my intuition, telling me something wasn't right, of Mars finally going direct, whispering to me to stick up for yourself. This is your home. Mars in Cancer, you need to protect your home. And then Venus going retrograde, you need to review how you're relating to people to move this energy. And so I told them no. I said, I don't trust you. I said, I think that what you're telling me is different than what's actually going on. And again, got hung up on. And then asked them to come and take their stuff away. And so they did. And now here we are Monday. I am kind of up shit creek without a paddle. I've got no toilet still, which is the central unit of our house. So I also want to say that house has energy. It does. And that I was feeling in my life all of this Pisces vibe, that energy was leaking out of me and that I wasn't using it in the right way, in the way that I should have been using it. It was draining me rather than filling me, what I was doing with my time. And so I'd been feeling that for a while. And now here comes the central unit of my house. Literally that garage area that my partner was cleaning was directly above the toilet that started leaking. And I vibe that so hard, you guys, because I see energy was leaking. Our house started leaking. The bathroom is the central place. We all coalesce. We all need to go to the bathroom. We all need to bathe. And now it's not functional. I don't have a toilet. I have a toilet and the kids have to go through our bedroom to get to it. Happy middle of the night vibes. So not chill. But I had a choice. I could have continued with the same way I'd been doing things my whole life, letting other people take the lead, letting other people make decisions for me, letting other people dictate what was going to happen. And I took it into my own hands and I said no. And I asserted a boundary. And that created a lot of discourse. And to be honest, a lot more trouble for me. But I saw that they were trying to do insurance fraud. I saw that they were trying that what an initial estimate when they thought I was paying out of pocket got tripled when they found out I would maybe go through insurance, became something that I could not ignore. That the integrity in me, that our house is our energy field, that having someone do something in our house, fix something in our house without integrity, would eventually start to eat away at the integrity in the whole house. That I believe that energetically allowing that to happen to me would it be also allowing that to happen in my home. And what that would have meant, I can't say, because I initiated the astrology. I activated it inside my day to day. I said no. I activated that Mars finally going direct in Cancer. No, I'm going to protect my house. And I stood up for myself. Venus retrograde. Sometimes you need to cause a calamity. Sometimes you need to do the thing that's going to be harder. Sometimes you need to stick up for yourself, even if it means you're coming across as, not the nice guy. I'm really attached to being a nice person. I'm really attached to people liking me. I'm very attached to harmony and peace. And I have seen now how and where that attachment led. That I just blindly gave trust because one other company recommended them and I didn't want to take the time or the leadership to step forward and find a different company or do it different. I did it the way that was recommended to me. And I learned something really powerful this week with all of this astrology. And now, was it the astrology? Was it me? Was it the chicken? Was it the egg? Who's to say? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that the astrology gave me the tools to try something different. That the astrology added pressure, applied pressure to myself to activate a side of myself I had been searching for a really long time, but didn't know how to access. And now life gets harder. Now I have to step up to the plate more. It's been happening for years. Honestly, I've been losing people. I've been losing things. I've been losing insurance. I've been losing all kinds of fill in the blanks because I have to now step up. I have to become a leader. I have to figure it out. I have to become the solution instead of the problem. So I am in a conundrum. I am in a place of hardship. I am in a place of extreme acute applied pressure, and it doesn't always feel good. But I can look at the astrology impending and trust that through how annoying this all is, how obnoxious and how many phone calls I have to make and how much paperwork I have to do and how much more I have to do as it being a continuation of my activation. And what if we all looked at the harder things that we have to do, even if it's mundane, because this is pretty mundane, guys. Like, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's a freaking leak. It's not crazy bad. It's just like in the main bathroom, so it's really annoying. But it's annoying. It claws at me. It's enough that creates low-grade stress all the time. So how am I going to work with that? And I want us to start using astrology. When I tell you what the vibes for the week are, I want you to start applying it. I saw, Venus is retrograde. This is an opportunity for me to do relating differently, for me to step into my power and take control. And I did, and I'm so glad I did. Because the second they got all that stuff out of the house, I energetically felt and knew that it was the right decision because I knew they weren't honest. And I knew that they were like milking the system to get something out of it. And I didn't want that to be attached to my home, to be attached to the central unit of my house, that there's got to be a better way to have respect for yourself and to have respect for my boundaries. And so I asserted that. And, I'm still in the middle of it. This is a to be continued, choose your own adventure. I don't know what I'm going to learn, what's going to get released in me, but I do know that there's a lot coming up that's asking a lot of me. And if I'm always wanting to defer to my partner, to defer to my mom or dad, to defer to, my kids, to defer to whoever for the answer, I'm never going to learn the thing all the way through. And so I learned a very powerful lesson, and I'm hoping that you are too. I'm hoping that whatever is crunchy in your life right now, you can activate it, to not be afraid of the light that is in the dark, to walk towards it instead of just continuing with our blind spots, instead of just allowing them to be. It's that thing of, I just tell it like it is. Those people that do that just like talk off the cuff. I'm one of those people, plot twist, who does that. And if you're going to be that kind of person, then you have to take responsibility for what you say, when you say it, and why you said it. You have to be willing to step up to the plate and take responsibility. And that's something I haven't been willing or able to do as a younger iteration of myself. And as I get older, I'm seeing these opportunities to step more fully into my power, to step more fully into my boundaries, to step more fully into who and how I am relating, who I'm relating with, how I'm relating to them, and what I want for my future. And that's vibes, you guys. And that's what this astrology right now is all about. And we get this little rest this week where Mercury is actually doing a lot. So we can do a lot of powerful moving of energy with our thoughts and with our communication. So be on the lookout for that. And now it's your turn. I very vulnerably shared some stuff that I am not good at, some stuff that has been very triggering for me, very hard for me. And now it's your turn. I want you to turn the tables on yourself, and I want you to ask yourself, what has been hard lately? How have I stuck up for myself? How have I not? How have I been relating? How have I not? And I want you to do what I just did. Apply. Like, my astrology was being pretty literal. It was Pisces and there was water everywhere. and my spidey senses were up. And then my warrior came up with Mars. And then my different way of doing things, of relating with Venus. I was working very intentionally with that energy this weekend for the first time. I mean, that's kind of hard to admit as an astrologer, but I can see the vibes, I can see the astrology coming, and yet I still just let it impact me and affect me. And I realize that in order to really heal, or in order to really make progress, because I've definitely been a victim in my life, I've definitely victimized myself. And it's not enough to just know what's coming around the corner. It's how you're going to rise to it. And I oftentimes cower and hide from it. And then these small things happen to just tap me on the shoulder to ask me to rise. And I feel more ready than I was before to rise to the occasion, because I want to start using astrology in a way that applies it to how I'm growing, in a way that asks me deeper questions to the things that I haven't been willing to look at my whole life through. It's hard to admit that I always took a sideways stance, that I always took the back seat, that I did that because I was afraid that I wasn't as smart as everybody else, that I was afraid that I didn't have anything to contribute, that I was afraid that I would mess it all up. And so I didn't. And I find that I still don't, especially in conflict, that I will allow it, that I will allow great trespasses, and have allowed great trespasses onto my heart, and forgiven it and kept it going because I didn't want to deal with my boundary, with my no, with my anger, with my hurt. I didn't want to deal with it. And, I think that I blame myself for that and feel that I am the person who was hurting myself all along. And that's true. And now I need to have righteous compassion for myself, that these were tools that I instilled in myself to keep myself safe from whatever monster was lingering in my peripherals, that judgment, that shame, that vibe that I'm not good enough. I've lived with my whole life. And now I'm ready to let it go. And that's not an overnight thing. That's today I told those guys to get their equipment out of my house. And that's my victory. And it's not a very sweet victory, you guys, because there's still a long road ahead in my toilet journey, but it's a step. It's a step to say, I'm going to let it be harder so that it can be done better. And that is the lesson of the astrology that has been going on around us. We have a week off to think about this stuff, to communicate this stuff. And then we go into eclipse season where we will have to do great building and surrendering, great holding and great releasing of our energies, of letting go of the need to be perfect, of the need for excellence, and allowing more trust, more ability to see it for what it is, more ability to move through it for what it needs to move through. So the card I pulled for us is Truth Be Told. That's right. Be honest. Be righteous with yourself. Do it. No one else is watching. No one else is looking. I mean, you guys are, now that I had to tell you all of this really personal stuff about myself. But the more honest you can be about where you're at with your relationships, with your situationships, with your job, with your life, the more fodder and room there is to build something different. And I love that. Build a big fire and let it burn, baby, burn. Like, let ourselves be ignited, be charged, be triggered. Let all of the things that we're afraid to come to the surface come on up, and see how we can conquer them in this very intense astrological climate. I hope it was helpful. I hope the story allows you to see that our astrology can play out even in the mundane. Even in fixing my stupid toilet, Mars was there, Venus was there, Pisces was there. All I had to do was call on the energy to find substance, to find accountability, and to find action to put towards the theory. Because we can theorize all day. I can astrology you all day. I can tell you what's on the horizon all day. But if we don't activate it, if we don't start working with it, if we don't speak the truth of it, then what's the point of it? I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope that you are untangling your own knots. Please like, subscribe, share, and reach out to me. And I will see you next week.